Have some coffee, tea, or water, you know.
No, it's hard to plan what to do because we don't know how long this could last, a very long time.
Oh, I always said, don't think about that.
No?
No.
So I know at 10 o'clock on Sunday where to go. So it's right here.
You don't have to go.
It'd be right here.
Yeah, you don't have to go. You can walk around your house. Yeah, I'm serious. This is real, okay? I told you guys, don't think about how long we have to stay when they open. Think about that. Don't think about that.
No?
No, don't think that. Don't. Okay, when the open, goes well, go away. Because we cannot fix, we cannot do anything. Just leave that. Have some coffee.
I want to stay and retreat.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure you have the place to walk. You can wear the mask. You have place to walk, just walk. You don't have to go to the big gathering. Therefore, this is a big mistake, okay? Think about when they open, when I will go out. Because keep going, thinking that is very stressful, okay? Just have coffee. Wow, this is good, delicious. Right? Yeah. This also, you know, I'm just talking about today, you know, what benefits when they close this, how you call this? How you call this? What is it?
Shut down.
Shut down. What benefit there?
Well, there's so many benefits.
To see, number one, you save your gas in your car.
True.
Number two, you can sleep more. I'm serious.
Yeah.
True.
Number third, you save your money also. You don't have to go all the time eat outside. Usually we don't want to cook, we go outside. We don't have to go eat the junk food every day.
That's true.
Yeah,
Right? You see?
True.
we don't have to wear our good clothes either.
Yeah, even you don't have to take shower. You just you don't maybe you don't have to also wash your teeth. You just get up, just okay, I'm here. You come out, you have to put, you know, you have to wear, you know, there are a lot of benefits. Okay? Think about that way. Then we are relaxed, you know. I'm also just to get up. I didn't do that perfect rest. I just get up, show up on my upper body. No, I'm joking. No, I'm serious, you know. If you think about that, there are a lot of benefits. You think about the only, you know, Buddhism way. You know, if you think about always negative things, it's bothering your mind, don't do that. Just think about some positive way.
Okay.
Therefore, you know, when maybe we never open, who knows? It's maybe time to the end of the war.
I've been reading that a lot of people are cleaning out their houses and getting rid of stuff they don't need, and that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Also, yeah, we have so many things we don't use, we put inside. Just clean out. Maybe no one take. Anyway, wonderful. Okay, now I'm not talking. We finish it. I finished my coffee, okay? Do you have coffee? I like to drink a very hot coffee. I don't know you guys.
Yeah.
I think Westerns maybe not. Maybe.
I like frozen.
Yeah, the most Tibetan, I think they like to very hot, maybe more than 200 degrees. Finish. Wow. Okay. You know, we don't have to do serious. Yeah. Now we have to pray.
Page 7. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, Until enlightened I seek refuge through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha. Until enlightened I seek refuge through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When I was supreme among humans who were born in this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom motion like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Thus tree like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, in all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions. Perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp. An illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble. A dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of God's protector's heart, to tip of this fresh, pure, white heap, curd like cloud, Olo Sangraka, Dharma's omniscient King, pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable Guru, smile brightly with delight. Pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit field for my mind of faith. Your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables. Your eloquent speech adorns fortunate ears. Your beauteous body, fame, glory, outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit. On virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginning this time, especially what has contradicted three vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shunned eight mundane concerns, made life lessons full. O protector from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable Gurus from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your Dharmakaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound Dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. Whatever virtue that I've here gathered, bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make venerable O Sanghapas essential teaching specially shine forever. Nigmate se wei ter chen rezik, dreame kien pei wang po jam pel yang, dupung malu jom ze sang wei da, dang chen ke pe tsu gien song kapa, lo sang bra pe jab la so va de. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and suit. O glorious and precious root Guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness, until supreme awakening remain steadfast. Homage to the exalted three jewels. Thus have I heard at one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomena called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then, through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter of the lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this, subsequently looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form, form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. That is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. No visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no I element and so forth up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth up to no aging and death and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation and no path, no exalted wisdom, no attainment and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom. Because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Tayata, gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom shall be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gandharvas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the hosts of the three places Dakinis, Akasamaratsa Shadarasamarayati.
Aga Samaranda Chandara Samaraya Pe
Tayata Om Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoha. Through the power of truth of the exalted three-jewel speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, Shanti Kuriye Soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, freed from adverse harmful conditions, may all be conducive and perfect auspiciousness, bring happiness and well-being here, right now. Saji perki joshi meito Idam Durura Mandala Kampiriyatayami.
Saje Judan Soji Jano Lai Shanje Bada Dana Jasum Je Dak Chishe Jebe Sonanje Dola Penjara Sanje Draba Jo Saje Judan Soji Jano Lai Shanje Bada Dana Jasum Je Dake Chishe Jebe Sonanje Dola Penjara Sanje Draba Jo Saje Judan Soji Jano Jangchub Bada Dana Jasanje Dake Chinto Jebe Sonanje Dola Penjara Sanje Draba Jo. Happy Sakadawa. Today is the second day of the Sakadawa. Everyone knows what's Sakadawa, right? You know, the last month, also the Theravada tradition, they also celebrate. I think maybe, except the Tibetan, maybe everyone's celebration the last month. I don't know how the Tibetan they count for the autology for 12 months. The last week, then not last month. This is the Tibetan 4th month on the calendar. Today, second day. The 15th, the last month, is they also celebrate for all the Theravada tradition. You know, Sakadawa. They call Visak Day. Tamchu Thokumudada. You didn't say Tamchu. He's hiding that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, wonderful. I can see everybody there. Hi. It's good, you know. 제가 일단 시당 남바 용속 편나 나중 근데 다시 배제한테 맞도 마치게 다시 다왕 엄마한테 다시 산증 중거 찍어서라고 다시.
So I think it is only in the Tibetan tradition, other than otherwise in all the other Buddhist traditions, celebrated Buddha's birthday and so forth. Last month.
How about China? Do you know that, Jesse? Do they celebration this year?
So I think it's Visa Day. Yeah, the same as our Theravada.
Yeah, I think they're about Vietnam.
The same.
Yeah, I think that's only the Tibetan Buddhism. But Tibetan have 나도 배워라 수치도 말아 가든다 각 말아 같은 열서.
So the Tibetan always have something very uncommon, from others.
제대로 가래 임바이나다 간단한 간도 그 안에 사가 나왔대. 안에 다 간지 상지 좀 된대. 다 용라라야 안에 근추바 안에 상제와 안에 꾸냥을 대봤는데 다 나와티나 저 종알아 기계와대 다 점에 용라로 차대요 그래.
And so this is the common belief, of all the Buddhists that on the 4th month, of the lunar calendar is the time, when Buddha was born, achieved enlightenment, and passed into parinirvana.
안에 가셔나 안에 말씀스 쉬와다 나와티나래. 안에 랍도 쉬와다 나와티나래. 안에 두티바다 나와티나래 랍게 그랬어. 다
And then also there's other tradition who also says on the same month, Buddha was conceived, in the mother's womb, and also the same month he became a monk, and the same month he also subdued the maras, or the demons.
Okay, anyway. 제가 딱 간도 계산에 사다본 거 좋아요. 사다바된 간도 단 범절다 같은 게래서. 개와체나 개와된 범저와. 아니 개와체나야 개와된 범저와 되게 그래.
And so since yesterday, the Sakadawa started from yesterday, and it is called the 100,000 month. 100,000 month. So it's like whatever you create, either virtue or non-virtue. It multiplies by 100,000 times.
Therefore, we have to be careful. Don't create that non-virtue action. 어찌다 남주 제자 다 남주에는 가도 타마루루지엔 삼점만가도 배나 세고 담벤도도야로 나트려가도 마보여로 다 달로다 가도인데 타마 고잡셔다 대다 가도 고급대요 말에.
So normally, we'll gather together to do practices together, like reciting the Golden Light Sutra and so forth. But because of this closed down, we won't be able to do this this time. But it doesn't matter, even if we are closed down, we can still do a lot of virtues by staying at home.
So
the closing down actually saves a lot of lives. So because it helps, to not get not spread the disease around. So if there's a less spreading of disease, then there will be less people dying, right? So a lot of places are opening up now, but when you go to those places, still be careful as before, because even though the places are open, but the disease is still around there, and it's not becoming less, it's actually increasing day by day. So like the China, is the oldest, the country, with the disease, and has the most experience about it, but still people wear masks and gloves, around when they go to the places, like grocery stores and so forth. And so because there are still, a little bit of, even though it's a small number, but still there are one or two, diseases coming up every day, even in China. So there are many people who comes out to be positive even without the symptoms. So when they look for the symptoms, there's no symptoms at all. But when they check, then they come out positive. So since we don't know who has the disease and who doesn't have, it's very important to be careful. So even oneself, even though we don't see any symptoms in ourselves, we may have the disease. So if we go out and and meet with the people, then we may spread to them. If we don't know we have, so just like we don't know they have, and they can spread to us. We don't know we have, we can spread to them. So this way, it can spread a lot. So therefore, it's very important to be careful and stay in as much as possible. So it's like you can't believe yourself either. You can't trust yourself either. Yeah, be careful, but don't be, stressed.
다 사가다바데 계산에 했어. 진짜 다 계산 그나 다와카시 간 나니 와르나세 도지들 점거를 못 송송. 점거를 못 봐. 끝에 나라야. 그나 다 그러 나 텐데 사와다 마늘에 마 파지 나 쏴 용용이지 말았어. 마늘다 뭐 사서 송송.
And so, one of the teachings, His Holiness mentioned the mantra that he has recited. The most mantra that he has recited is the Om Mani Padme Hum. There is no other mantra that he has recited more than Om Mani Padme Hum.
제가 잠잠 가서 오만 마늘에다 그 취지로 가서 되게 왔어. 잠보진 가서 되게 왔어.
So usually we consider the Om Mani Padme Hum very small practice, right? Small, mantra and a small practice.
아니 텔레마인 바다 직 간제 보다 대체자 많은 세대가 고페 매든 바바시레 되지 딱 간제 니보 아니 딱 바바시레 되던 레벨이 냠라이자 빼면서 내가 자고요.
And so because it is related with Avalokiteshvara, therefore it's very important practice.
제자 계산한 곳은 당에 대해서 나와 찍려야 나랑 그치다 그때나 가서 곧 잡네 참 많은 사대요. 가지나 쇼게 따바다나 시리즈 다시죠. 대단들 많은 사대요. 그래서 가산에 전에 다 참여가 아니 많은 사야지 전화하서는 주주 중년에 당보발라 아니 못해 주지. 아니 계산 아니 고촌에 다가도 주주 직 많은 사야지 소샤요.
And so I thought for this month of Sakadawa, it would be good to recite Om Mani Padme Hum as many times as possible. And so therefore I suggested that we do a session of a recitation of Om Mani Padme Hum. And so since yesterday I started to do this live on the Facebook, the practice of Avalokiteshvara for 1 hour from 12 p.m. To 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Geshe say he has been doing this practice on a daily basis from the beginning, when the lockdown happened. And since then he has been doing this every day, like 10,000 times every day.
I thought yesterday also is wonderful. Jangchub and Geshe, they both translated for a little bit explain. Geshe is also very good translation now. Also, I thought maybe yesterday maybe we can do also the Vietnamese and also Spanish, but I don't know who speaks Spanish. Then who can do for the also Vietnamese? But maybe within this month also maybe we can a little bit one day also do it again, because this can help for another people. Maybe during that time, maybe not many people listen, but they could put in a lot of people can also get some benefit. What is the 아니 지나서야 소소 달랑아도 추소 온 것들당 나랑 것들 이제 전에 밭에 도착을 해야 소소 뒤급 대세요나 냠주체 맞으나 가지 소소 대세요가 많은 데서 사나 제자 안에 땡땡아도 팽거래 단다 점거를 못 된다 슈말아야 아니 시리즈 자동체도 거 와나게 그래 다도 파지 가자 기바만 보이저래.
So so Geshe will go live on his Facebook and also the center's Facebook. So if you can join either of those two, then you will be joining together to do the practice of reciting Om Mani Padme Hum together. If you don't have the time to join at that time, then you can do any time whenever you are available to do the practice. So it is good to recite Om Mani Padme Hum as much as possible, and also and because of that, I think in a special reason, His Holiness has decided to give Avalokiteshvara initiation next week sometime.
주마차가 사가다는 가 많은 범위 사회죠. 많은 범순 사회죠. 소수 생활 텐데 이제 뽑았지 않고 저나 yap으로 와.
And so if you can recite or accumulate up to like 100,000, 200,000, or 300,000 times, that would be really good to like to be proud of yourself.
제가 아니 되지 되는 나도 건다 주제 두 번에 주제 제가라야 로마 나도 사고요야 못 됐지. 아 저도 tel라 되셔나 tel라 냠주체.
지다만도 되거서 만약에 참 고쳐야지 붐 투사고다.
그래 제가 아래 많은 참체와나 아니 나도 시리즈 다체단 레베트는 붐 투사고 이래서.
So, and also, if you, and usually when we do the retreat of Om Mani Padme Hum, then the fulfillment of the retreat, is, having recited, 600,000 times. And so 100,000 times for each syllable, there are 6 syllables, right? So 600,000 times, that will be like considered having done the retreat. So if you do that in relation with the sadhana, if you have received initiation before and would do that with the sadhana, then it will be same as having fulfilled your retreat of Avalokiteshvara. The Om Mani Padme Hum.
군대랑 그 자섬 나겠다. 시리도 다치 지바요. 인지가 저려나.
요리.
예, 대나 지나서 대 다운로드 지 제가 마찬가지로 시리도 와는 수사를 때다. 소소 대체타와나 빼야버 단다 고급도 때네 고 이만 년가 되고 말했어. 아니 쇼케 아니 주도 직전에 제가 아니 다 도저히 쇼나까지 이마치 쇼나 텐시도 주도 제가 쇼나인데 그래. 까마쳐 쇼나인데 그래. 이 집이 다 주도니서 내고 와요 말했어.
So there is also the sadhana of the 1,000-arm Chirasik, 1,000-arm Avalokiteshvara. His Holiness gave this initiation, and there was a member of our center from Kurukulla Center, Ming-Chen, a Chinese lady, who translated, who found the translation, and then she also translated into Chinese. So there is a version of Tibetan, English, and Chinese, all of them there. This sadhana, I think, we have it somewhere, and maybe we have it at the center also. So when Geshe goes around, and Geshe and I, we, help to edit, that sadhana book. So if you can find that, and Geshe, thinks that it will be good to follow that and to do this practice.
This is good. If anyone, maybe Deborah knows, if someone found that, can you send me also that? There, Tibetan, Chinese, English. That's wonderful. 제자 안에 된대 인사 가서 안에 가서 배는 삼단에 배는 소소 셴발아 파왕도 그거는 인지미지고 야 단다 가로 신세타도 강가체고다 난 가서 되게 고메와 인자 안에 소소 단다 대단 제베 안에 많은 분투 사토나 땐데 시리즈가 삼고 쳐로 그래.
And so if you, of course, usually, to complete the retreat, you have to also do the 5 puja, followed by that. Even if you can't do that, if you can do the, sadhana of the Chirasik, and recite 600,000 times, then that will also fulfill the retreat of having done, retreat of Avalokiteshvara.
그래서 안에 소소가 미 셴발아 와도 그 고에나 안에 단다 지세도 고르라고 도스. 아니 와도 그 거면은 지세 인치지 고는 게 맞게 해서 말해. 다 전화도 야버리고 파 셴발아지 와 고한도 셴발아 대per거나 아니 소소 치는 맞춰와 간지 지세도 싸고 너. 셴이지 메지 고 자사 자네 자 지세 맞서는 고마셔와 된거 봐주셔서 말해.
I think it's not really necessary to do the 5 puja, and unless you're going to be giving or conferring initiation to someone else. Otherwise, if you don't do the 5 puja, it will be fulfilling of having done the Avalokiteshvara retreat.
제자 고급 내다 때문에 오늘 소소대 단다 다시 디디면 지금 말해 대단하네. 아니 만나사토나 아니 몇 거나 지시 시간 흘려 차요 그래.
So if you can, of course, like I mentioned, if you have received the initiation, and especially the initiation that was given by His Holiness, in New York at that time, then you can follow that sadhana and do the retreat, based on that, and then it will be really nice, to do that. And if you're able to do like 600,000 times, and that will fulfill the retreat, and the person also becomes very, very peaceful by nature.
제자네 단다 군두랑 게좀 파지 자점 나와래. 대파지 군두 공로 죽고 있는 유신의 지를 잠바래. 시리즈 다치지와.
I think this is the sadhana, that was composed by His Holiness by himself.
아니 군두 파지 공로 죽고 있는 유신의 직급 잠조래.
And that was composed around the time when he was 19 or 20 years old.
핵군족. 대치 대단다 안에 들리체도나 고급도 때문에 아니 소소 사가다와 때문에 양보 용사로 와.
And so if you're able to do that, then really we'll be making good use of this time, especially of the Sakadawa.
Yes, more you have some question. Yes, go ahead.
Hi. Do we know where there would be a copy of that sadhana if we don't just have a copy of it just sort of available to us? Is there somewhere we can find it?
Yeah, this we know. Should ask Deborah. Maybe Deborah, the person, maybe she knows something. Then you guys just research.
I'll look for it through my books later today.
Oh, good, yeah.
I don't have my computer. I looked. I couldn't find it on my computer. So. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Usually Deborah knows everything, whatever there. You know.
It could be downstairs in the file cabinet at Kurukulla Center too, in the basement.
Or maybe Jangchub are here.
Yeah.
No, looks my computer is how you say?
Frozen.
Frozen.
Slow.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
It looks like this.
No, I couldn't see you. Like even if you find maybe website or somewhere, that 세단 시리즈 뭐보다 단다 군주랑 그 작품 나줘 때 튼튼 야보죠 그래서.
So this was, given by His Holiness, initiation, and in New York, so that time it was distributed at that time, and I think we have at the center. But anyway, maybe there's one, short one by himself, by His Holiness only in Tibetan or English, so you can also find that.
How many pages do you have, Jangchub?
So this one with the 3 translation, I mean, there are so many other pages and so many other prayers, so it's really hard to say, but it's about 20 pages.
Oh, it's pretty long. I think
but it's a big letters and a lot of spaces around.
Yeah, otherwise His Holiness, he combines the short sadhana. It's pretty short. Yeah, my computer, my laptop is frozen now. It doesn't move. Okay, but you guys hear me, right? Jangchub 거기도. 아니 거기다 내기다. 거 많기는 많기도. It's very funny. When I see you guys, that's what you guys looking. It seems that. Is I moving?
Yeah, you're moving a little bit.
Yeah,
there you go.
From my side, I'm stuck that. 제가 안에 대단 레벨 제단 강도 간제 오늘 사가 다와대 고다 되는 데까지 연구를 시행하도 다 뒤에 정도도 와시. 이제 정보 정도 가도 개체인지 지메와 차로도.
So anyway, if you can do that practice like that, then your sagadawa, it becomes meaningful. Otherwise, we'll just waste the time. The time just goes, passes by itself. And if we don't do anything like that, then it will be really a waste.
제가 안에 다 대단 대회 되게 냠내도 야보 영화라 안에 지경에 받치셔야 돼. 근데 진짜 다 주소 좀 알수 없다 봐요. 빼는 거 좀 찾아요. 그래. 주소 좀마다 파바시래 되니 빼 무슨 게 다 가로. 다 가로 살아. 제가 chen-mo 어떻게 찾아요?
And so like that, if you also can do the practice, of the Tara, which Geshe does in the evenings, so it will be very good. The Avalokiteshvara and Tara are very closely related, to each other.
제상아도 공다 치서 두네 체간에 두번에 두대 체가 받치서 체가 같이 그래. 아니 제대 체간에 거와 발라야 체 그랬다. 제대 체가 거와 방에서 배워서 체가 되나 건데 셔라 미세 이지가 요마다 드라마데 참이 신경해서 그 가와내 소소 정치는 그러고.
And so for the Westerners, Geshe does from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then then from the 8:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. With the Tibetans. So there is no explanation in English there, but the recitation of the 21 praises and the mantra are the same. So you can join to do the mantras there also. If you have time, so much going on. So if you have time. And so you don't have to regret, saying that, oh, I'm not able to join this or join that. So many things, You don't have to feel regret, but do as much as you can. So the reason for me to do this is, to benefit even if one single sentient being. And so that's something that we, do it on a daily basis. So like I mentioned before, at this time when they are starting to open up the things, please be careful because the disease is still around. And so also don't be stressed, staying inside, thinking that, oh, one it'll open and one will be able to go out. Don't feel like that.
Do you know guys, like when before they stock my computer, you guys like this, now you like that. So, I don't know, my computer is complete, how you call it? Frozen. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Oh, Teji.
Too much going on live, Krishna.
I think maybe like that, yeah. Maybe the COVID-19 go to my computer. Okay, Teji. 제가 다 되네, 아니. 그렇죠. 오늘 쉐리즈 단다 공백하려면 제가 남주 하고 그러 왔다. 제단데 아니 다체들은 소소 쉐리즈가 야케지. 아니 소소 담보 동장지. 동바 대가래. 아니 쉐리즈케네. 아니 소소 쉐리즈 연삼네. 아니 드라마 안가도 많이 좋아하나 페인트 책이 그러와.
So like I mentioned before, and also you know yourself, right, that when you recite the mantra, it's good to generate yourself as Avalokiteshvara. And then while thinking yourself as Avalokiteshvara, recite the mantra, that's more beneficial. So before you do that, of course, if you have the sadhana, then you follow the sadhana, do all the preliminaries, and then the actual practice of generating yourself as the Avalokiteshvara. And then before that, you purify everything into emptiness, and then from the state of emptiness, you arise in the form of Avalokiteshvara. And then think of yourself as being Avalokiteshvara, and then with that thought, then recite the mantra, and it becomes more powerful. And then His Holiness also mentioned if we do that way, then it is really more beneficial. And then also he mentioned that even if we don't do that, but at least if we just do the mantra, recite the mantra, then that will at least stop us from engaging in idle gossipings. And so last time we mentioned about, we're talking about generating bodhicitta, right? In order to generate bodhicitta, and we have to first develop equanimity. And for that, we have to practice and meditate on equanimity for as long as it takes. So this time, as we are staying home and nobody to disturb around, we'll spend that time to do a little bit more practice of meditation. And so let's meditate a little more on equanimity again. And so all the people in this world, those we consider as friends, enemies, and strangers, they are all actually equal. Same being enemy, same being friend, same being stranger. So meditate on that for a couple of minutes.
Te re some call ma telling Nation by Chegore. The Nation Yanang to some telling
So it's not, enough to just say that yes, it is the thing like, not enough to just think it is like that, but you have to really find out it is like that. You have to find ascertainment, thinking that that's how it is.
Oh, yeah. That in a tanium jonto mashi gungo yores, mashi.
Then after the equanimity, then we have to come to the point, of recognizing all sentient being as one's mother. So last week, have you been able to, find a time to meditate on recognizing all sentient being as your mother? Have you read any books on, recognizing all sentient being as your mother? Any other books? So by doing that, by reading other books, were you able to find a little bit more easier to understand that?
마시가 또 받게라 발랐다 간제 네 개방 같이 된 거부터 참고도
In order to be able to generate the realization of recognizing all sentient beings as mother, it is important to understand about the past and future lives.
제가 아니 개방하실 때다 릅단다 뭔가 뭐 보여요. 간제 개방하마 요때 간제 릅방하마 간도 소미셔서 주라 그러와.
And so there are many different logical reasons to prove about past and future lives. So there is a past life because there is the preceding consciousness of that.
제가 안에 두 지내다나 간제 간도 두 지내야. 다 간도 메시아티 미팅 알게리 이제 아메가네 저데. 알게가 샘체 알게 가 햄발라 다 아메가 알게 깨고 이거
And so all the beings like those who are born from the womb and egg, they all have to come from the mother, right?
제가 두 지내다 간도 바지 깨와라 토마메 파 간도 샘라 다 고가다 녀고 그래.
And so therefore, so when we are born, this time we have the mind, entering into the womb, and then so that mind, coming from the previous, state of time, and that way, we have to come to understand that there is a past life.
세상안도 단다 천도 레스나 천도 아타 이때 인사래 쌈 바지 쌈 그래. 대강안도 샘 좋았다 또 말해.
So if we are told, that that's how it is, then maybe we must say, looks like it is like that, looks like it's like that. But just by thinking that, we'll not be able to change our mind.
제가 가래고는 따티 샘나 내신이고다. 다 내신에다 가래나 내반이었어.
And so you have to really understand that, find ascertainment of that.
Okay. 제가 두 제다때 곰잡 삼로당 더 지메 깨와라 토마 메바 깨와지 랭귀지 마요고바 페나 샤다 라다다 semjen가도 민통대와도 참아라 마고 요바티 삼로 라마라타네 간제 다 semje 참행아 아마 전용여사래 삼베가 간제 네바로 예고.
And so think about, think about all the reasons. There is this, the how sentient beings as mother. So all the time, all these sentient beings, who are born, like the animals, the birds, the deers, and all these animals, who are born, they depend on mother. And so it's depends on mother. So in the previous lives, when we were born as some such and such beings, we had to have a mother, to be born, and therefore, so we have to come to understand, that there was a past life and there was another form of life that we were born as, and during that time we were born from a womb and we had a mother and so forth. So so you have to think about that reasons until you find the ascertainment, thinking that yes, definitely there is a past life and there was another being that I was born as, and which time I had a mother.
제가 나도 미지가 들어봤네. 잠벌이가 사대 조야에서 저도 갈라버려. 사 조야에 사대 배제하는 조야에서나.
조야에서나?
그래 사대 세.
Never said that.
매워 차야에서나.
Okay. So if you were asked the question, if is the earth, can the earth be consumed? Kind of like used up. Can the earth be used up completely?
What do you think? When I'm going to do so, I'm going to do shit in the laya. And the saga then now the train and Amani the Tej Chevana and Kaja Sagan Nagamaris. Then you train Amachi Amani the Zambali Sagan Nagamat Laviores.
So like Nagarjuna said, if we were to turn the whole earth into like a dough, and make a very, very small peel of out of it, and then you make you count, so how many times each sentient being has been your mother, you'll use up the whole earth, but it still will not, reach the number of the time the sentient being has been your mother.
제가 단디 리인데서 단 네건 잡을래가 좀 타요는 잡을래가 좀 체중 가세가 좀 체자 더 여러 봐.
So like this earth that we are on, we have the measurement of that, right? So we know how big it is, how wide, how big it is, and so forth. We can measure it, right?
제가 있나 아니 다 아마 가세를 요래서는 장가점나 장가도 수직이 도요 말했어요.
But if we were to count, how many times, the sentient being has been our mother, then we will not be able to count it.
제가 가는 새는 아는 간도 깨와라 장요 말해서 다 두시 다 접다 두시 듣고 그래.
So the reason, is because there's no, no number, to the rebirths. How many times we have been born.
다 대단한테 빼갈래거다. 레라고 말 간지 다 간지 대서도 bana tanda Austin yi kana da level 말했을 거야. Austin기 단다게 다 가로 강사 Austin 세 미티기 다 준대 간지 다 통마요 말해서 이거로.
So it's a little bit, of course, difficult, to convince oneself, to understand that. But if you make if you use the logic, to think about that, then it will make sense. Like when we're talking about one person now in this life, like Austin. So Austin, is not Austin all the time. So the Austin wasn't there before he was born, and after he was born, then he was given the name Austin. Then after that, he became Austin. Before that, there was no Austin, but there was the continuation, of Austin's mind.
제가 benna tanda 데브라는 다 데브라서 다 보고 와서 맞아 데려왔어. 단다 마용한테 가디 인고트 왔나? 가지 엄마 가들어. 가지 마이가 내줘 말았어. 아마 이가 건께줘 말았어. 그 보고 제쳐질라 뭐 아마 차서 팅야라 뭐 아마 말아 보모래 자대로.
So like Deborah is a mother, right? So she wasn't born as a mother. She became a mother after she gave birth to a child. So like that.
이번에는 다 뒤에 가는 부모들 아마 차가 부모들이 전대 사이네 막 되는 거 그러고.
And so, but without that girl, little girl Deborah, and a young woman Deborah, there cannot be a mother Deborah. So mother Deborah has to come from the woman, the young woman, the little girl Deborah. So the continuation is from the beginning, from there. But she became mother at the time when she gave birth to a child.
제가 도저히 가제 대신 봐 삼로다 제다 요당 대다 간조 그 남백이 시야 되고 시다데 내 남백이 따와래 그 따와도 그 말이야 내 남백이 따와도 그 말이야 근데 우유에서 그봐 때나 바꾸요.
So this is not just a Buddhist belief or view. It's the reality. That's how it really is, right? Like just to give example of Deborah being mother and so forth I gave, so that's the reality. It's not a Buddhist view or belief. And so it's the way of the things, how the cause and effects work. And so this is so the way things happen on a daily basis, is not a Buddhist belief only. It's how things are. And also, when we talk about the cause from which the result comes, there are two different kind of causes. There's like the substantial cause and the condition, or the auxiliary cause or the condition.
제자 다 빼잖아. 데브라단다 아마 영화때 뭐란게 년례게 저 간지 아마 제 네베가 간지 부모 뒤가 다 년례서 그러면 되게 되지 심하 차대 그랬던지 뭐라 아마 저 부모 때문에나 아니 그 아마 차이가 고요 말어 봤어.
And so like the Deborah mother, her cause, her substantial cause, will be the woman, the Deborah, the young woman Deborah, who has potential to become a mother. Without that woman, Deborah, there cannot be a mother Deborah. And then also other simple example, is like the wooden stick that I'm holding. The wooden stick, that I'm holding, the cost or the substantial cost, of this wooden stick, has to be a wood. It cannot come from a metal. If it was made from metal, it will not be a wooden stick. It will be a metal stick.
제가 두 전에 제가 야마나 마도 benangzo ma ne tamna ne chegona ne gasamala ne tawa matun je tege ne gasawa chegmewa drog ne chegmewa tundu ko sam ta yashigores.
And also think about the fact that when you sow a seed of a barley, only barley grows from there. I cannot grow rice from a barley seed. And the same with the rice. When you plant a rice seed, then only the what grows from there, is the rice. You cannot grow a barley from the rice seed.
그래와 대자다다 안주고 배나 나세 강다 지도 강다 되게 시파제 시제세 사르기차 이용 거래.
And so there's like the person, right? The person and the person's mind. That's the person, like the I, the person, and the person's mind, which is which nature is clear. Right? And then there is also part of the persons called my body or my aggregates. And so there are three things that we can look for in ourselves, like the I, right? The I, who is I, and then my body, and then my mind. And so my body came from a body, came from the body of a person that has the same kind of substances.
So
just like the body has to come from the body, that's its substantial cause, the I has to come from the I also, the substantial cause, the I. And so same with the mind, which is the clear and knowing, right? So the nature of the mind is clear and knowing, and so that mind, which has the nature of clear and knowing, and has to come from a mind, which is a clear and knowing. So the substantial cause, the continuation of the substantial cause of the mind has to be a mind. It cannot come from a body or I.
Okay. Tatu jina samlota ani peshata samlota kunita pigi tagi de ngazo benan theri baina ko mishena palu shegona tsulu kono taji tena jeta ngazo peshata samlota check to check.
And so like that, we have to contemplate, on these points, contemplate, think, use the logics, to think about it, to contemplate on it, and then refer to a text, scriptures or text that explains about it, and then contemplate on again. So just like the scientists, who do their research, by, putting the piece in this tube or that tube on that machine and so forth. So they will analyze like that. Just like that, we have to, use our mind and the scriptures or textbooks that explains about this to find out more about it.
Okay,
so now we're going to meditate. Okay,
hey, I saw the kid. 제가 다 검전에 담보 소소인다 소소 세셔 소소 배나 가와넬랜드 소거나면도 가제 소소고 정거마다 파바치 세셔 왔어.
So now what you're going to meditate on is oneself. So think about yourself, where you came from. Today's you came from where? And then you go back.
가제 고 주사지 누드면도 파파파세 가제 도시 제 맞아 전체도나 가도 돼 녀도 말이 가제 마셔 말았네 마셔 가지고 그러다.
So don't break the continuation. If you break the continuation, then you lost it, right? So where did today you came from, and yesterday, and then where did yesterday came from? So go back, and then go back all the way back, as much as you can go.
도저히 곰잡 삼도 야네 삼도 아니 거지 다 가지고 개발라 지 통마 요사 말에 삼자고 셈라 되는데도 기타와이나 가지 아니 가지고 바로 강시 문제 봐나 그런 게 개발라 통미 탐에 받습시 도저히 파파파파파서 가님 나고로 오치네 다 문제 봐주나 아니 저도 개발라 통미 탐에 받어버려 스페셜들은 나도
So, if you keep on going and going and going and you couldn't find it, right? So you could, you come to the point that it's there, there's no beginning. And that time you have realized that there's no beginning, of the rebirth.
와야 다 까맣죠 곰자인다.
Okay, now you're going to meditate for about 10 minutes on that, okay?
Oh yeah. 당이 주도 가서 배차 로쇼라 이봐. 아니 지나서 삼라지. 대포온다고 싶다. 내가 따따랜도 삼도 예소에 순영이 요에.
So Geshe asked you to find a book or text written by other masters, especially a Westerner teacher, who might have explained a little better or clearer that fits with your way of thinking. So have you been able to find any?
저는 단단 간소 배나 간소고 가라고 배나. 메토도 답고 그러나 메토도 답고 그랬는데 춘들이 루고 그래. 대수 니만들이 고 그래. 아 소리는 간소 참만 간소 띵 답아 싱거워 봐. 된다고 고 그래. 녀바 다 샘라지 가져. 다가로 그런 녀바로 고고 그랬어.
So like that's following the instruction, there's if you have been doing something that you are habituated with, like planting a seed, like you have to plant a seed and you have to water it for this many days and you have to keep for this long of time, and then after that it will grow like that. So you have that understanding, right? When you have done that for a long time, you know that. So like that kind of understanding you should gain.
Okay, who has? Raise your hand. Okay, Bob. Yeah, you can explain.
This was not a Western author. It's the Dalai Lama, and then composed or put together by Thupten Chodron. But he has a section on the continuity of consciousness, about 3 pages.
Therefore, how it's work is not?
Not completely.
Yeah,
it helps a lot, but it does help.
Exactly. We need something to, I got it. We need like that. It's, oh yeah, this Buddhism where they talk about, they talk about, not like that. Okay, do you have something to add? What they explain, how she explained?
He explained largely he said it's the same logic as you're using, the same logic as I think Dharmakirti, and the logic of just thinking that a moment of mind, the substantial cause, it has to be the previous moment of mind. And then if there's no previous moment of mind, then there's no cause, and it can't come from nowhere. So if you see that the substantial cause of the previous moment of mind, of the current moment is the previous moment, a continuation, then as you go back from moment to moment, there can be no first moment, because everything has to house if there was a first moment, then the first moment would arise with no cause. We don't observe anything, nothing comes from no cause. There's always a cause.
Okay. How guys? Do you have some add? Yeah, we need something to discussion, something you guys, okay, yes, this makes sense like that. Oscar, you have some? Jennifer, you have some?
I also did not go to a Western author. This is also by the Dalai Lama. It's called Science and Philosophy in Indian Buddhist Classics. And the chapter on cause and effect talks a great deal about substantial cause and cooperative condition. But I think what I thought was helpful too is that it says that our present body and our consciousness reside together, each with their own distinct substantial causes, but that they act as each other's cooperative conditions. So the body acts as a cooperative condition for the mind, and the mind acts as a cooperative condition for our present body, but they have distinctive substantial causes.
Good. Okay. Any other people have? Also, who got a sulate karo? What can I say? I don't know how to Tibetan. No, I forgot Tibetan. Kaje tengazo semla chikaro mantebando suladus. That tell Sela mantebando yungi telaya konzo yam deshe jamna te stop there, she said.
So anybody, has like a doubt, or feels like still not convinced, that there is a past and future life, or there is the continuation of the previous mind. Do anybody? Then maybe those explanations can help.
Yeah, Oscar or Karen.
So it's not a direct answer to your question, but I was reading Luminous Mind by Kurukulla Rinpoche.
Okay.
And he talks about, when we're in the dream, when we're asleep, when we're dreaming, we have these experiences, and then when we wake up, we feel like we're the same person, having had an experience in the dream. And I think that helps me to bridge the idea that before I was born, my mind was still there. So that helps me to understand that the possibility, at least, that there are other lives, and that I've had other lives, and I will have other lives.
Good. Okay, Oscar.
So I was having a hard time thinking of a Western teacher who I really actually could trust enough to talk about this kind of subject. So I had a hard time with that. But just thinking about the Lam-rim, the one that we talk about in class, it talks about if you took the earth and you put it and you turned the earth into berries, little tiny berries, that would be how many previous lives that you've had, but that doesn't even nearly come close to how many previous lives that you've had, right? So if we've had all these previous lives and all these thousands and thousands of previous lives, why haven't we gotten it yet?
Why was it?
Why haven't we gotten it yet? Why haven't we realized enlightenment? If we have thousands and thousands, billions and billions and billions of lives, why haven't we gotten it yet?
Okay, who's going to answer that question?
I mean, I think I understand it. I think it's because of the fact of obtaining a perfect human rebirth. And the chances of obtaining a perfect human rebirth are so small. That's the only thing I can think of as why we haven't obtained enlightenment yet after so many births. But maybe I'm wrong, I don't know.
No, that's good, yeah. Who's going to answer that? Someone like to volunteer?
Yeah, but I guess, we could have millions and millions of rebirth, right? But doesn't mean that every rebirth, we are born as a Buddhist or have the chance to practice. Or even if we have the chance to practice, we might have other bad habits from, again, millions of years. So, unfortunately, we might have all this life. We're not sure if we are born as a human, we have a chance to encounter Dharma. And if we do we have the perfect condition to practice? So, I think that's why it's so precious. Every single life we have to try our best to learn as much as possible. So unfortunately, as much as I think we're fantastic that we are enlightened yet, just not that easy. So that's my best step at it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the chances of obtaining a perfect human rebirth are so small that's why it takes so long. But you have to string together at least 3 or 4 or 5 lives as obtaining a perfect human rebirth. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere.
But we might have the perfect rebirth, but doesn't mean that every life we encounter Dharma. So I think
right. But no, you have to have a perfect human rebirth means you've encountered Dharma, correct? Right. So in order to string together 3 or 4 perfect human rebirths is very, very hard, I would think.
But you also have to purify the karma from all of these other past lives when you do have a perfect rebirth and you have met the Dharma. And so that seems to me to be an imperative, which is purifying all the karma from all of these other lives so that we can then, as you say, Austin, start to string together a few decent, good human rebirths.
Right.
But we absolutely have to purify the karma while we have the opportunity of the perfect human rebirth, because we're not gonna start stringing together, you know, additional perfect human rebirths, you know. So the purifying the karma seems like it's absolutely essential.
If you
and any other people? Yeah.
I was just going to say, if you still have the afflictions, it doesn't matter if you purify the karma, because you'll just continue to create more karma.
You need to make
Other
perfect
people?
request to your guru as well.
Yeah. Other people can add some.
So I think the path to enlightenment, this is, don't know, Geshe, hi. The path to enlightenment needs several causes. The primary cause is that we have, all sentient beings have Buddha nature, but that's not enough, because then you have all that was mentioned. You need to have the opportunity to have a precious human rebirth, but even having the precious human rebirth is not enough. You have to have the contributory cause of meeting a spiritual master who can teach and guide. And then even having that, then you have to have the contributory cause to be able to achieve the true accumulation, method and wisdom. And maybe then having achieved that and you can perfect those wisdoms, then maybe we can achieve enlightenment.
Good. Okay, Muria.
Yes. Thank you, Geshe. It's good to see everybody. I wanted to mention about a Western teacher. One of the teachers I find who's very helpful. I don't have anything specific that he's spoken about, but I have heard him speak. Bob Thurman. Bob Thurman. He's very. I find him very helpful to listen to his teachings.
He came to the center. He came to the center, and yeah.
Yes. I find it very helpful. He has a lot of audio teachings online, and I know I've heard him talk about emptiness and that continuum, the mind continuum, and thinking about that. So I found it very helpful. I still don't quite, you know, get it all the way, but I do find it helpful, you know. So
Robert Thurman was His Holiness's first Western student.
Yeah, he's maybe like when he was like 20 years old, he studied.
Yeah. Wow.
He's also very good Tibetan. Okay, any other people? Because we can like discussion, like example, you guys found something, oh, this really makes sense that you bring here. Because when we just explain like, oh, Shanti Deva Nakajuna, then you guys are difficult to understand. You say, okay, this is a very simple way to explain. You find something, then bring here, like switch.
So, Geshe, this is Asia.
Yep.
I was reading Joseph Campbell for a long time, like maybe 10 years. I've studied Joseph Campbell, and he studied specifically about cultures from all over the world and how similar stories would show up even a long time ago, about a flood story, about disasters, about enlightened beings showing up in different parts of the world at the same time. And he would say from the West that these are like ancestral memories that are part of all of our consciousness. So he did so much scholarly research on just different cultures over time and across centuries from all over the world, and how similar some of the stories are. So that's Joseph Campbell is who I like.
Good.
저랑데 가서 거기 담보 지와티에 되고 고소세. 거기다 콜라에 들라거다. 너들한테 기어 된데 뭐 여봐이나? 단다보다 가진 상황 하게 됐어.
아, 대 콜라 소마데.
네. 단다보다 상황 하게 가진 됐어.
아, 땡이 하고서 돼.
야.
Yeah. Okay, Deborah.
I was going to say that something you said last week really hit home, and was that this is so difficult to realize. And so I think one of the problems is when we learn the 7-step cause and effect instruction, we just think, oh, we know the words, we know it, but actually we don't. I haven't realized it. And that was sort of echoed in this other translation of Liberation in the Palm by Geshe Tenley. And he said that, as you said, it's the most difficult, one of the most difficult topics is to understand that we've had endless rebirths and all beings have been our mothers. It's more difficult than understanding profound emptiness. And so to me, that's my problem. I think, oh, I know the words, I know it, but I don't really know it. That's just a superficial knowing.
No, it's good. It's good. Okay. Any other people?
I would just say that I think that Jeffrey Hopkins is a very, very good, reliable Western author as well.
No, maybe you guys have to go to buy so many books. 제가 단단히 쳐들어야 돼. 대 셴바데 진입시간 대 요금을 돼서 only the one 대부터 따야 돼.
So you can look for different books, but you don't have to buy all of them. Right?
제가 다다 어스큰 걸 해야 돼. 좋아도 되기로 왔어. 나도 들리 제법 모바일에는 다 가서 다다 가지네 다 하대 말했어. 대 좋아도 빼 좋아도 저 친구 내가 친구 찾는 그랬어.
And so the Austrian's question is: so if we have had so many lives, in the past, then why we haven't got it until now? That's a very, very important, very good question.
제가 다 나도 대사원 아니 오늘 사제거나 사제가 저도 가르치 저도 세고 그랬어.
So why we haven't got it until now? Yeah. So then, what do we have to, do to get it?
Yeah.
What is the cause, for finding that? We have to understand that.
제가 그 generation 연구이나 제때만 레벨 맞춰든 직등이 중요해요. 봤을 나발 그 소차다게 말봐.
So we can't get that, that what we want to get, is the result, right? What we want to get is the result. So if we want to get the result, you can't get it without a cause, right? So you have to have the cause. Without a cause, you will not be, able to get the result. And it's not, that's the reality. It's not created by Buddhism saying that's how it is. It's not like that. It is the reality. That is understandable, right? And so what is the cause of enlightenment? And the cause is virtue. So at this time, we have achieved this prophethood and rebirth, right? With all the 8 leisures and 10 endowments. And we have 24 hours. And how many hours of that 24 hours do we spend doing our practice? And how many hours do we spend for this life, so to obtain the necessities of this life? And then how many hours do we spend sleeping? So just like Jesse said, every rebirth that we had, will not necessarily be having the prophethood and rebirth. And even so little rebirths that we had with the prophethood and rebirth, how much of that we really spent doing practice? And then also the emotions that come up in our mind, every day that we have to deal with, like anger. So every time we get angry, how much of the anger can we pacify by applying the practice of patience? And so if we compare like that, then out of all these 100% causes that we need to achieve enlightenment, out of 100%, we're not creating even like 1% of the cause. That's why we still haven't got it.
다 내나 내가 텔레야고 시다고 살아마 따바야나 고 누구지마 누구지마 제고 니바디 열어봤어.
And so like a seed, of the barley, if you sow it, if you plant it on the ground, then it has the potential to grow into a barley, right?
옛날에나 저랑게 감나라 로 mambope 롱압 파 잘라지 가지 코 마리아가 멜루네 샤샤나 코 코라 대대그런다이나 코 이게 사고를 누구 쳐다 가지네 지체 차상 좀 코 깨가 말았어.
But you, instead of planting it in the ground and then applying all the conditions that is required for the barley seed to grow into a barley, instead of doing that, if you keep it inside a box without providing earth, moisture, or sunlight, and so forth, if you just keep it in the box or in a bottle, in a jar, for thousands of years, it will never grow into a barley. It has the potential.
나도 참여질라 산지 리요를 했을라거리. 이나야 다 사마지와도 가와하대래. 다다 어떤 주자 차들 마보랍상 차 참바비 고독배야보 라샤 당간도 참바 가지 까사데 사제질 까데도 냠내지 마도 버지네.
And so just like that, we have the Buddha nature, right? The potential to become a Buddha. We all have that. And so the reason why we are still not enlightened, is just like many of you, all of you explained and gave a very good answer because of this, because of that, and so forth. So yeah, because the main reason is because of not being, able to practice or create the cause, 100% cause, to achieve enlightenment.
제가 답변한 디몰라 벤나 강사 디젤라 마시게 또바 jel라 깨비게 땅으로 가는 용어서 봐야나. 벤나 심심 뭐 조마치. 심심 뭐 조마치. 이게 디진 통화였나? 단 네가 내 마치베 갈라 내 지도연이 차상 될라야 가로 다 라레바레 섬도 텐데 소와데 슈타보체나 현재라 마시 또바 추마레세 아니 조지가 소서 랍도.
And so the criteria, of having generated that realization of recognizing all sentient beings as one's mother, is when you have the feeling of mother, towards even like a small bug or ant, that you see crawling. So when you see that, you feel like, oh, that's my mother. That has been my mother, and I had to depend on it, for all my happiness, for all my, protection and goodness, at the time when it has been my mother. If you feel like that, even when you see a small little bug, feel like that's my mother, then that's when you have, generated the realization of recognizing all sentient beings as your mother.
나 그게 심해지도 등도 심해지. 심해된 통에 가블야. 나가 심해지에 갈라 심해된게 마체뇨와래 선배. 아이 가로 들리고 초월 하나 개반나다 마시게라 기회 따요.
And so like you see, who's that? Amy's cat, right? You see the cat there. So when you see the cat, if you see like, if you feel like, oh, that's been my mother. This it's not like thing like, oh, this is just a cat. Not like thing like that. Saying, oh, she has been my mother. That.
And 나 심해지에 갈라 심해된게 아마래 내 지도 사막 콜라라래 그래 삼제 고서와.
심이 되다 그냥 저랑 심이 배고서 대심이 뭐 이게 뭐라.
나 다시다 나 심해지에 갈라다 심해 내라고 가지 아마 전용을 해서 마시러.
So at the time, so at the time, I was born as a cat. The cat has, this cat might have been my mother, and it has been my mother like that. So you have to have that kind of a feeling.
대마치와제 양가도 심해된 마다서나야 심해라야 못지야니까 다시.
And so not saying that, of course it's your mother, but you have to have that. that mother is, but it's sword was keep over.
마체뇨와래 삼지.
Mother which is sword. 대 초안 매나된 마 뭐라.
제가 마체뇨에 초와도 고쳐 제다나 아니 마체뇨 가름 마체뇨와래 해서 가르 소들레고 살아봤어.
So you have to have this strong feeling that she has been your mother. She has been your mother. Of course, it's not your mother. You can't say this cat is your mother now. Not the mother of this life, but she has been mother in one of your previous lives.
람도 되죠. 샘침 안에 정보치은 통화나 라레 뭐작급 랑기 쩌두 사마 텔라 레규숑어서 라라 템바데 마시 젤란 투와 조지 따와 고소송스 다 조지 들어서 말해 스페셜한도.
So called it, yeah.
준소 고 맞지 받은 것도. 전제 고 맞지 받은 것도. 맛이 좋았다. 맛이 좋서 타만타만도.
So it says, here is the criteria that determines, whether you have developed this understanding after a repeated training. If you see a sentient being and an ant, even an ant, you will involuntarily remember that you were once that being's child, and that all your happiness and suffering depend upon it.
Okay. Okay, that didn't know it. And it tanda mashidi has gom show, mashidi call it gom jab samlo ta tem ramata lock. Mashidi chubokala. Cheda mashidi pe nego chamuchago was.
So again, spend as much time as possible to meditate on recognizing all sentient beings as your mother, and meditate on and contemplate, think about all the logics and read any books available, to make you, to deepen your understanding about that.
Okay. Do more homework, do more meditation. Then I have to also go another for 1 hour. Then today also we're not doing to the meet the one by one. We will find next time some different time. Okay? Then now we pray. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Geshe. Page 39, the Thanksgiving Model Offering. Saji Perki Juxing Metok Tram Rirab Lingjing Yidigyan Padi Sangye Jingdu Mingte Uwagi Dokun Namdag Jing Lacher Parshug Jitun Lame Kutse Rapten Jing Nam Kartrin Le Chok Churge Padang Lo Sang Ten Pedren Me Sasungi Droe Munsel Tatu Nik Yurchig Idam Gururatna Mandalaka Miryatayami. From my two collections, vast as space that I have amassed from working with Eric at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose mind's wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold the Buddha's teachings for a very long time, with my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or one spread have declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time. By even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. Short, long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chen Rezig remain in life till samsara's end. Pray this spontaneously fulfills all wishes. Tong Ying Jie Zundu Ju Pe Lam Che Che Sel Ze Gang Chen Ten Dragon Chagna Pemo Tenzin Gatsola Suwadipso Jeden Lundru. Which 49, the short long life prayer for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Upso Changxing Zhanggen Gyume Tenzin Kyong Wei Kunzo Do Porze Chok Sum Kor Wei Leg Man Tu Drup Dak Sok Do Jay Gan Du Jam Ten Shu. Page 57, prayer of dedication. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha's state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious Supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Page 75, Sema. Ik meit se wei ter chen chen rezik, Dream pei wang po jam del yang, Gong chen ke pei Urgyen Tsongkhapa, Lo sang drag pei Jabla Solwa De.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Have a
Geshe.
wonderful day.
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you, Yeshua. Thank you,
Thank
Damsula.
Geshe-la, Damsula.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Geshe. Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, everyone else.
See you at noon.
Bye. Have a good
Thank you,
day.
Bob.
Bye.